Yo, what's up guys, you're back with Technic, and today we have a speed test comparison between the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro and the Oppo Find X2 Pro. Both of them have Snapdragon 865 processing chips. The Xiaomi version that I have here comes paired with 8 gigs of RAM. The minimum spec that you get for the Find X2 Pro is 12 gigs of RAM, so that is the version that I have here. I think it looks absolutely stunning in this orange vegan leather over here. It looks superb. Here are the specs over here. Feel free to hit pause if you'd like to see more information. We do have a 90Hz panel on the Mi 10 Pro and 120Hz panel on the Find X2 Pro, which we will enable. We'll also enable the native QHD Plus resolution on the Find X2 Pro. The Mi 10 Pro is limited to just Full HD Plus. We have also enabled high performance mode on the Find X2 Pro that's lacking in the Mi 10 Pro, and we've disabled all animations. We will be going throughout the test with my finger, so to keep things accurate, we're going to pair GoPro footage at the bottom left hand corner. Keep your eyes out for that, guys. This is Technic, and without further ado, let's go. We're going to start here with a boot in round 1, and I have sped things up at the bottom right hand corner. As you can see, it was 400%, now 200% sped up, 16 seconds on the Xiaomi as opposed to 23 seconds boot time on the Oppo. So first point goes to the Xiaomi, but when initially opening apps, the point goes to the Find X2 Pro over there. Now we're going to be testing out facial recognition, so it's going to be best out of 3 here. You can see the tick there underneath the Find X2 Pro. It gets it every single time and snags its second point in round 1. For the under display fingerprint sensor, they are both optical. We're going to do the same thing that we did with the facial recognition, best out of 3, and the Oppo got the first 2 and snags the third one and gets a third point in round 1. Moving on to round 2 over here, guys, we've made sure that all the apps are clear in the background. We're going to initially open every single individual app here, all 20 apps from camera all the way down to PUBG in round 1. Round 2, we're going to go back through the apps from PUBG to camera again, but this time it will be about reopening speed. Round 3 has nothing to do with RAM management whatsoever, because we're actually going in the exact opposite direction that we did in round 2. So round 3 will be testing out the speed of reopening each individual app. Round 4 will then be about going back through a loop, back to PUBG, back to camera, and that will be about RAM management. So stick around for round 4 for RAM management. Also take a look in the description if you want to click ahead on these rounds to go see certain things such as round 4, which is RAM management. Also have a timer at the bottom left hand corner there, counting down to the next round. The GoPro footage is at the bottom left hand corner there as well. And so far we have the Oppo 4 points ahead of the Mi 10 Pro. We're running an internet speed test over here. The Xiaomi took 27 seconds and the Oppo took 24 seconds. I did speed it up over there, but the Oppo was 3 seconds quicker. Going into Spotify, the Mi 10 Pro snags its third point, making it once again 4 points between the two devices. Going into Photoshop Express, Adobe Photoshop Express here, it was too similar to call. So what I do, guys, if it is too similar to call, I don't allocate a point. If it is obvious, I do allocate a point, and if there is more than 6 milliseconds between the two devices, I allocate a point as well. I can assure you that I slow down the clip a ridiculous amount of times, 4 or 5 times, to make sure that I am allocating it correctly. This is now Adobe Rush. We're going to be exporting a 4K clip at 25 frames per second. And you can see the estimated file size is 101 megs on both of these devices. Just updated today. The Xiaomi was 21 seconds and the Oppo just a second behind with 22 seconds. So the Xiaomi makes it just 3 points between the two phones. Now the Xiaomi is on 6 points and the Oppo now on 11 after opening up and turning on Astral VPN, since we need a VPN here in China. Now what I do when we go into social media apps is I look at which one opens it up and which one loads the app quickest. If one of them does the one and the other does the other one, then no point is allocated. If they're opened up too similarly, then neither phone gets a point either. Though if it is obvious, like I said earlier, one of them will get the points. So 4 points behind on the Xiaomi over there as opposed to the Find X2 Pro with 11 points. The Xiaomi just snagged its next point opening up YouTube, since it showed that preview clip a little bit quicker than we saw on the Find X2 Pro. But going into my channel on YouTube, the Oppo Find X2 Pro, what a name, I must say. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of all these names. Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro, it's nice and simple. Oppo Find X2 Pro, it's quite a mouthful to say, though. They couldn't just use X2 Pro because their sister company Realme actually have a phone called X2 Pro, and this is the Find series. I'm not sure if you guys remember the original Find X, but we had that really awesome mechanical motor bringing up the selfie cam and the back cams. It protected all cameras around, which is really awesome to see. My S20 Ultra recently had a bit of a knock and the back glass cracked, affecting the selfie cam. If I used the regular Oppo Find X, that wouldn't have been an issue, since the motorized pop-up would have been in the phone and the selfie cam would have not not been affected. But this time around, the Find X2 Pro, Oppo decided to put a punch hole display there, and you can see that the Xiaomi and the Oppo have pretty similar punch hole like dimensions, I would say. The circular width and height that you see on both phones, the punch hole is almost exactly the same. We have this wonderful QHD plus screen on the Oppo, and we can use it with 120 Hz refresh rate at the same time. That is something the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra lacks. You have to either have Full HD 120 Hz or Quad HD 60 Hz. With the Oppo, you can have both turned on, and the Xiaomi unfortunately doesn't have an option for QHD, and it only has 90 Hz. You guys also need to remember that because the Oppo Find X2 Pro has a refresh rate of 120 Hz, it has a 240 Hz touch response rate, where the Xiaomi has a 90 Hz refresh rate and 180 touch response rate. So the Oppo does indeed pick up my finger slightly quicker than it would on the Xiaomi due to the touch response. Sped things up there to finish off round 2 with 4 points ahead on the Oppo Find X2. Now we are going to move on to round 3, which is going to be about reopening each individual app and testing out speed in that way. Once again, guys, this has nothing to do with RAM management. All the phones should have kept these all 20 apps open over here. Maybe not for the initial apps, the first 5 apps over there. I guess that kind of tests out RAM management, but we're not doing a loop here. We're going in the opposite direction. So it's about how quickly we can reopen each individual app. And so far the Oppo has opened up all apps except for one quicker, and the other one was a pretty close call. So far 4 points for the Find X2 Pro and just 0 points for the Xiaomi. Xiaomi is yet to get a point now in round 3, and the Oppo gets another point when reopening up YouTube. Going into Twitter over here, you can see things were too close to call, so neither of them got a point. And I must just add that the Xiaomi beat the iPhone by 5 points. It'll be really interesting to see how the Oppo Find X2 Pro does indeed do against the iPhone 11 Pro Max, to see how accurate things are in my testing. So guys, please make sure to hit that subscribe button if you are enjoying these videos, and if you would like to see more of them. I can tell you there are hundreds of them already on my channel you can go check out, and plenty more to come with all the latest and greatest Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 processing chip phones. And with the Mi 10 Pro, it actually lost against the Samsung. It lost by 8 points in speed, and if we took away RAM management, it only lost by 1 point. I'll also be comparing just speed, which is round 1, 2, and 3 against each other, as well as the total points including RAM management, which comes in round 4. So far, the Xiaomi hasn't reopened anything faster, and the Find X2 Pro just made it double digits in round 3 with 10 points. Going into the phone app, the same can be said, reopening up a lot quicker on the Find X2 Pro. I must say, guys, that when I was editing this video, I actually couldn't believe it. I went over it even more than I usually do just to make sure. The Oppo Find X2 absolutely crushed the Xiaomi in round 3 in reopening apps. So going back into your apps that you already have loaded, the Oppo is going to do a better job almost every single time. Now round 4, I'm going to speed up to 250%, as you guys can see at the bottom right hand corner. This is all about RAM management. So the Oppo has kept the first 2 games open, first 3 games open, first 4 games open, Chrome it kept open, both of them kept Netflix open, the Oppo kept YouTube open, both kept Twitter open, the Oppo kept Instagram open, Facebook open, they both kept Astral open, the Oppo kept Rush open, neither of them kept Photoshop open. We had the Oppo with Spotify and the speed test and all of these system apps in the last go over here. So 13 points as opposed to 0 in round 4 there, guys. So overall, 13 points for the Xiaomi and 46 points for the Oppo Find X2 Pro. I cannot believe how great it did in RAM management. Without RAM management though, it would just be 13 points for the Xiaomi and 33 points for the Find X2 Pro. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, this is Technic.